Welcome, brave souls, to another journey into the darkness. Prepare yourselves for a tale that will send shivers down your spine and haunt your dreams forever. I have prepared my most macabre terror story that I can think of to share with you, so brace yourself, for this story will make your blood run cold and your heart race with dread. New Orleans voodoo, the legacy of the Louisiana voodoo. In the heart of New Orleans, where the streets whisper of old magic, a young woman named Amber found herself drawn to the city's mystical past. She had recently inherited a small wooden house on the edge of the French quarters from an aunt she had never met. The house was steep in history, its walls lined with shelves of strange books and jars filled with dry herbs. There was one room, however, that her aunt will specifically warn her never to enter. Amber couldn't resist the allure of the forbidden. One night, under the soft glow of a crescent moon, she stood before the locked door. The key her aunt left her slipped easily into the lock, and with a deep breath, she pushed the door open. The room was unlike anything else in the house. Candles flickered in front of an altar with skulls, feathers, and dark colored candles. Strange symbols were drawn on the floor in a thick, chalky substance. At the center of it all, resting on a velvet cloth, was a small, worn doll made of twine, wrapped with strips of faded cloth. Amber felt a sudden chill, but she was transfixed. Her fingers moved as if on their own, picking up the doll. As soon as she touched it, the temperature in the room plunged, and a shadow flickered in the corner of her eye. She spun around, but no one was there. She was no stranger to stories of New Orleans voodoo, tales of the powerful Marie Laveau, and spirits that lingered in the bayous. But this felt different. This felt personal. That night, Amber began dreaming of a woman with eyes like fire. She saw her walking through the streets of old New Orleans, a silver snake wrapped around her neck, chanting words in a language long forgotten. Every morning, Amber would wake with a strange ache in her chest, as if something was being pulled from her. One evening, as she sat at the altar, trying to piece together the fragments of her dreams, she heard a voice behind her. "You've opened a door that cannot easily be closed." Amber turned sharply to see a tall woman dressed in a flowing white robe, her hair wrapped in a bright red scarf. Her eyes were dark but gleamed with ancient knowledge. "I am Isilla," the woman said. "Your aunt served the spirits, as you now must do. She passed before she could train you, but the Loa have not forgotten their promise." Izzy explained that the doll Amber had found was a conduit for a powerful spirit bound by her aunt to protect the family. But with her aunt's passing, the spirit had become restless, and now it sought freedom. If Amber didn't take control, it would soon find its own way out, and it would be terrible. "You have the blood," Izzy continued, "but you lack the skills. You must learn quickly, or the spirit will consume you." as he began teaching Amber the ways of New Orleans voodoo, the rituals, the chants, the offerings. Amber learned to call on the lows, to speak with the spirits of the dead, and to bind their power to her will. She visited graveyards at night, leaving offerings of rum and cigars. At crossroads, whispering prayers to the shadows that gathered around her. But time was running out. The spirit within the doll grew stronger with each passing day. One night, as Amber prepared for the final ritual to bind the spirit, the air in the house grew thick with a scent of burning herbs. The candles flickered wildly, and a low growl echoed through the room. The doll twitched. Amber began chanting the words Isley had taught her, her voice steady despite the fear that gripped her heart. The growl grew louder, and the temperature dropped so low that her breath turned into mist in the air. The shadowy figure from her dreams appeared in the corner of the room, its eyes burning with anger. The spirit lunged at her, but Amber held firm, chanting louder, offering the spirit a way out, a way back to the other side. The room shook violently, and just as she felt the cold fingers of the spirit wrap around her throat, it stopped. Silence filled the room. The doll fell lifeless on the floor, and the oppressive weight lifted from Amber's chest. She had done it. The spirit was bound once more. Eliza appeared in the doorway, a proud smile on her face. "You are ready," she said, "but this is just the beginning. The spirits of New Orleans are watching, and they do not forget." Amber looked at the altar, then back at Eliz. She had inherited more than just a house. She had inherited a legacy, and now she was part of the city's deep, dark magic, bound by the will of the laws. From that night on, Amber walked the streets of New Orleans with a new purpose. The spirits whispered her name, and the shadows bent to her will. Thank you for tuning in to this eerie tale. Until next time, stay tuned for more spine-chilling stories. This was Sandra Pink.